All right, all right. Angie's Dangles on a Friday night. We were preempted last night due to our son's graduations, Angelo Jr. and Danny Carmen. Want to give them a huge congratulations for graduating high school. See if anybody's on. Anybody comes on, then we'll do my opening and then we'll jump right into the show. It's going to be a little dicey because I know it's a Friday and people have plans and it's usually a night out, so I get it. No worries. Watch the replay. All right, we're going to just jump right into it. Let's see. All right, we got somebody. Hey, Clark, Oh, you can't see me. Why can't you see me, Clark? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, bro.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Let's do a show.
Oh my God.
Let's do a show.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you said show up.
Oh, there you are. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Sit. Can you want to come in?
Yeah.
Oh my God, guys. I got you. Oh my goodness gracious. Are you kidding me?
Listen, Angie's Angles, we make things happen.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen.
Just put this on this.
Yeah. I am beside myself right now. Coming into the studio live.
You know I got these bad knees,
Yeah.
right?
You okay?
Yeah.
All right, we got Brett Maletta.
All right, what's happening?
What's going on? Now we're gonna have a big opening right now. Here we go. Hi, Mike. Hi, Clark. I am Duo Interstatal. Here we go. Good evening. Happy Friday. It is June the 28th in the year of my Lord 2024. Welcome into the studio, Brett Maletta, all the way from Florida. He surprised the hell out of me. A good friend. I call him my brother. We share the same birthday, if you can believe this. Brett, say a couple of words.
Bad. So, my son has a shoulder problem that he's been having for the past 2 months. He was sleeping on the side. He woke up one morning. Long story short, his shoulder still has not gotten better. So I said, you know what? Make an appointment. We made it on Friday. You told me you were having your show on Friday, and my other son's birthday is the 4th of July, but he's having his birthday party in the city tonight. So after this, I'm going to Manhattan. I'm going to surprise him.
Oh, man.
So everything just worked out great with, all the people that I surprised, like one after another. I just wish I had a picture of everybody who saw me, that when I walked in and they saw me, everybody was like, I can't believe you're here.
I can't believe you're here.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
cannot
yeah,
believe
yeah.
you're here. We gotta get you up on the studio right there. There we go.
Yeah.
This is my buddy, Brett Maletta. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
lots of fun.
This is amazing. This is shocking. I'm beside myself. Can you believe I'm speechless? If you know what I mean. All right, so before we get the show going on tonight, I got to give a couple of kudos. So yesterday, the reason we didn't have the show last night is because Angelo Jr. and Danny Carmen graduated high school. We sat out in 90-degree weather on the football field at Longwood High School. Congratulations to all the Longwood graduates. It was a very, very touching, emotional for me and Barbara. And I just wanted to share some pictures from yesterday, if I can. Here's our boys in front of the Longwood Lion. Angelo's on the left and Danny's on the right. Here's the proud mama, Barbara. She's in front of our house with Angie. And then Danny. Now I need to give a shout out to Barb because as moms go, there's not a better mom in the universe for our children. She's their personal champion. She makes sure that they're always well prepared for school. She stays on top of them. Make sure, what we can do on our end gets done. Make sure that every event was attended. She sacrificed herself to ensure that these two children got through school well. As you know, Danny's going to be going to St. Joe's in Patchogue. He's going to be playing for coaches Caputo and Ashatino for the Golden Eagles and studying accounting. And Angelo is September 5th will be on the plane with me and Barb going to Athens, Greece, the American College of Greece, where he'll study biomed. So we wish Angie a really great trip, and this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Tonight's show, we're going to discuss and dissect Edwin Diaz's suspension for the sticky fingers, and we're going to talk a little bit about mediocre teams. Do they have a right to the playoff with the new expanded playoff format? And we're going to touch base on that only because last year, the Arizona Diamondbacks, who won 84 games, that's 84 games. So what were they? They were 84, and doing the quick math, 84 and 78. Barely over 500, and they made it to the World Series against the Texas Rangers, and they lost. I was rooting for the Diamondbacks because I'm a anti Scherzer and anti DeGrom guy. So that being said, it is what it is, right? We'll touch base on that. Let's just jump right into the Edwin Diaz. So this was Edwin Diaz's close-up of his hand the other night in the game that he got ejected. And let me tell you something about this. So Edwin Diaz was coming into the ninth inning. He had not thrown, not one pitch did he throw yet. Not one single pitch was thrown. The umps check his hands. It happened to be against the Yankees. The Mets had the game was on ESPN. David Cohn was one of the announcers, and even David Cohn said, "Listen, guys, this is the result of legal rosin, legal sweat, and a combo, and this is what happens to your hand." And as my good friend who's sitting right next to me, Brett Milletta, has said, "Hey, aren't batters allowed to use pine tar?" And what is the purpose, right, Brett? What is the purpose of using pine tar on the bat?
It doesn't stick out. Doesn't
fly out of your hands, right?
Yeah.
It gives you a little stickiness to it, right?
But you gotta say something though, Ange. When you have that sticky substance on your hand, you're able to snap that curveball. You're able to make that ball dance. Especially these guys, these athletes have huge hands. You put a little bit of sticky on that, and you can make a curveball rather than go, what is it? A curveball go like 8 inches?
Yeah, sure. Could go, Doc Gooden threw 12 to 6, right?
Right.
Start at 12 o'clock and then drop to 6 o'clock, right?
Right.
But some of these curveballs also start at your eyebrows and wind up in Hoboken, if you know what I mean. So, it goes crazy, right? So Brett brings up a really valid point. It does give an edge. But how much of an edge does it give it to a batter who now has to, maybe it's a slider. He sees a slider coming, so he's now reaching out across the plate. And instead of the bat slipping and sliding in his hands, he's got full control of the bat, right? So where do we start and stop with what's legal for the offense and not so much for the defense? So this bothers me, right? This is a great point. We need to debate it. We need to discuss it. So to get back to the ejection, they ejected him for pitching with an illegal substance. That's the rule. Here's the problem. He didn't throw a pitch. He came right out of the dugout. Not a pitch was thrown. They didn't give him an opportunity to wipe his hands clean, to wash his hands like they've done for other starters. Now they said, okay, a starter's a little different than a closer. Other than the determination of his role on the mound, there is no difference. They're throwing the ball. They're pitchers. He's not a batter. He's not a pitch hitter. He's not a pitch runner. He's a pitcher. And how do you throw a guy out of a game, an important game that we managed to win? I think the Yankees more lost that game than we won that game. But nonetheless, you get my point.
So let me ask you a question, Ange. You know, I don't watch baseball anymore. I think the game has changed so much since I used to watch it. It's not something that I enjoy. Is that customary for the umpire to look at a pitcher's hand prior to him throwing? I never heard of that before. Is that customary, or is that something that just happened last night or the other night, or what?
So it's customary to check the hands between innings. When you're coming into the game, the pitcher has to show his hands and his glove and his belt. Coming off the mound after throwing 3 outs, he's required to see his hands. Show them to the umpire. The umpire, in my opinion, has a broad spectrum of responsibility here. They have to enforce the rule, which I understand completely, to find sticky substance before he even threw one pitch and to toss him.
Do I look fat?
No, you don't look fat at all. You look bigger than me, though. I mean, you're a big guy, Brett.
Okay.
It's incredible. You don't look. You're making me look like freaking Jiminy Cricket, for God's sakes. And I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3", for God's sakes. Although I'm a little svelte, I'm a $180. So let's call it like it is. James Krause is in the house. What's up, James? How you doing? So Clark's telling us, let's put you on the big board, Clark. Clark wants to say, hey, I used to throw one of those big breakers. It's all about the speed of the pitch. Hey, Darcy Krause. James, are you guys together? I mean, come on, we need to get together. And Darcy, we're having wings, bourbon, and cigars. And I know you're a tequila gal. July 11th, BLDs were going to start. Let me know if you're available. Maybe you and James could come down. School's out. It shouldn't be that big of a problem. If you know what I mean. Dave Silberg, good friend from Oceanside High, dialing it in. How are you, Dave? So let's get back to Edwin Diaz. The guy has an up and down season so far. He's pitching to a 4.22 ERA, a couple blown saves. But since his meltdown in the clubhouse, where he shed a tear or two, for God's sakes, making his $96 million, God bless him, he's pitched pretty well. And to penalize the New York Mets, for this, it looks like a workman's hand. It looks like a guy that rubbed it in the dirt, for God's sakes. I mean, and you don't give him the chance to remedy it. You've done it before. There's been 8 guys that have been tossed. 3 guys have been matched so far. It's crazy. The conspiracies lining up where does MLB have a hard-on for the New York Mets?
So let me ask you a question, Ange. Since you've been to the Grimace game.
Since I was there
Right?
for the Grimace game.
You were there for the Grimace game. Now I understand, only because my son tells me that the Mets now are winning like a lot.
A lot.
Right?
They're like let's call it like 11-3 since the Angelo Gagliano game.
Right.
Screw the grass.
Now, do you think that this is just the thing that the Mets, because every year they do something like this, where I said it early in the year, they'll go something like 8-1, 11-3, and then everybody gets their hopes up, and as soon as they get their hopes up, then it starts again where they go 2-11 and 4-18, and these. What do you think?
So I owe a debt of gratitude to this guy. He's opened up my eyes to the game of the corporate side of baseball, right? We met, about last September, maybe October, we met. He found me on Facebook. He started trolling me.
Yeah.
Threw a couple of comments out there.
Yeah, I'm a troll.
And then we started up a friendship, and I'm honored.
We started up a friendship because Angelo was a gentleman. I don't know what it is about my personality where I have to come out and make a troll comment to see how you'll react. And Angelo handled it. I mean, how do you think the debate went last night?
I think the debate was perfect for my guy. All right, that's funny that you bring it up. So I'm vetted. I'm on record as saying that Joe Biden deserves to enjoy his elder years.
Certainly does.
His golden sunlight.
He certainly does.
Brett has also made me aware that he and I, about 20 years left on this planet, right? We got 20 years.
Yeah.
Joe's got less. And Joe should be out, looking at birds swooning on the lake. He should be enjoying his grandchildren, and not the way he does, unfortunately. The debate was great. What I took away from the debate, and again, I couldn't watch it live, so we recorded it. And believe it or not, Barbara, Danny, and I watched it together jointly. And the one takeaway that I took that I was very pleased with was one, Donald J. Trump was very reserved. He was very disciplined. He didn't bully Joe, because I think if he did,
return people off.
100%, Brett.
Yeah.
100%. Let me reverse the question. What was your opinion about the debate?
So I was traveling last night. I didn't make it into New York until, by the time I settled into my hotel room, it was around 12:30, 1 o'clock. So I watched a little bit of it on YouTube. And what can I say about it? I honestly felt bad. I'm not a political guy, right? Though I do know politics, and I'm a huge historian in regards to the Nixon years. And I really believe that the way we're looking at Trump right now is the same way that people looked at Nixon in 68. Let's get rid of the hippies. Let's get the economy back together. Let's get this country back together. And what we fail to realize is that a president can't do that. I think it's really what John F. Kennedy said. That's not what you could do for the country. What the country could do for you.
Right.
What you could do for the country. Right.
Right.
So I don't think that Trump could come in here and get rid of people who don't like this country. I don't know if he could deport all those people. I don't know if he could find all those people that have come into this country. I think it's putting a lot of responsibility on him. However, I do think that he could stop what's happening in Russia, right, in Ukraine right now. And I think he may be able to help. I don't think he could stop it, but he could help. He could help what's happening in Israel. Is that fair to say?
That's fair.
Right? Is that fair to say?
Sure.
In regards to people running around with blue hair and purple hair and wanting to be called different genders, Trump isn't stopping that. We're heading in that direction.
So, I was getting back on. I'm going to move off of politics for a moment, right? Or probably forever tonight. Brett opened up my eyes to the corporate side of baseball. When Steve Cohen took over the team, I was rah, shish kumbah, deep pockets, goodbye the coupons, no more nonsense, no more penny stocks with them. Brett said this guy, it's all about Father's Day, roughly June the 15th. That's when he breaks even with the New York Mets, with the concessions, with the merchandise, with the parking, with this and that and that and this. And then everything after June 15th, as a businessman, is gravy, is profit for the guy.
Well, let me put it to you like this, Ange. If you were the owner of the team and I said to you, Ange, I want to get this player, this player, this player, one of the questions that you're going to ask me is, how much is it going to cost? And I'm going to tell you $330 million this year, for example. You're going to go to another guy, the head of marketing, and you're going to say to him, what date can we make that money back? He's not taking the money out of his pocket to pay these people. What he does is write a promissory note. What I mean by that is he says, okay, we'll do the $330 million. If the marketing guy can't make the money, then I'll write the check. He's able to back that. However, he never wants to write that check. So he goes to the marketing guy and goes, what's the date? And the guy goes, July 1st. And he goes, get it done by June 15th. And they raise your Pepsi 5 cents. They raise your parking $2. They raise your ticket prices $3. They raise your cable $4 for everybody who says, Uncle Stevie, just get them. We don't care how much it costs. Everybody in this podcast right now is paying. And I'll tell you what, Even if you're not a baseball player, you're paying for it. Because you go to the store and go buy a Pepsi, you're paying an extra 5 cents because they just got a new player. Because they just renewed. Who's the first baseman?
Alonso.
Alonso. I always call him Alfonso. Alonso. They just renewed his thing for $200 million a year. Somebody's got to pay it, and it's not coming out of his pocket. Right?
Yeah, that's fair. And so Brett's kind of brought me down off cloud nine, right? And I've mentioned this on past podcasts that it's all about the money. It's all about the Benjamins. And then Steve Cohen's investment into the Mets, he's trying to parlay that into a casino. And then the casino is just going to be a cash cow that's just going to keep dropping money into his account, into the Cohen family account. Not the Gagliano, not the Maletta, not the Kevin Elliott, not the Clark Oatman accounts. So, sadly, Brett's opened up my eyes a lot towards the financial side. I'm still a fan. I'll never stop being a fan. I'll never stop believing that there's a rainbow a pot of gold at the end of my rainbow, right?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with rooting for your team, but to say, spend whatever you want because I'm not paying for it. I think we have to think a little bit different because we all are paying for it.
And that can't be true. And so, as I said, when they went into the lockout, I've personally boycotted paying going to Citi Field, going to see a ball game. I'll get my cable vision. I'll watch it on ESPN, blah, 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 blah. And tonight, the Mets are on freaking Apple TV yet again, and they can't watch it. I don't have an Apple account. And when I tried to log on here, my son Michael down in Florida gave me his Apple account. It wouldn't take it. I just don't understand. All these streaming services are making it that much harder.
Why did the Mets need streaming services?
For money.
Yeah.
For money.
Right.
And you brought that.
If not, they'd still be on Channel 9.
Yeah, sadly, and they switched over to Channel 11 now, which got my eye when that happened because I'm old school.
Right, that's Yankees channel.
Right, leave me on Channel 9, WOR, for God's sakes.
Is there still such thing as Channel 9?
Yes, there is still.
What show? Can you name one show on Channel 9?
The Skankies were.
No, I mean one TV show.
I have no idea. Maybe the Steve Harvey reruns. I couldn't tell you. Okay. I don't know what's on Channel 9. You got a point.
Yeah.
So, I also wanted to go into I wanted to discuss tonight the standings because I think that's important, right? Looky. The New York Mets are now sitting at third place. And for those that know me, understand my whole thing with Nimmo. I actually personally dislike Nimmo. I was against the signing. I was against the $160 million contract, 8 years at $20 million. I wanted him to go to Colorado. I really wanted that to happen. The Mets have vetted me. They have absolutely proven to me that I am a savant because he no longer leads off. Why? Because he's not a leadoff hitter. And he's no longer playing where? Center field, because he's not a legit center fielder. Now, he's a good player. And I'll give you slightly above good player. And I'm famous for the hashtag Nimmo sucks.
That's what brought me on board.
Right.
That's what brought me on board. When I heard that, that was it.
So lately I've been going fool's gold with the Mets recent success. Right. Okay. And if you see here, they're 8-2 in their last 10. They're 3 in a row winning streak. If you can see, the Phillies are they were 6-4 and the Braves were 6-4 in that same. The Mets are now sitting 12.5 games out, but more importantly, only 4.5 off the Braves, which, holy crap, a month ago, who would have thought? It was almost virtually impossible for us to be that close a month ago. So you'll see me keep posting fool's gold, and everybody that you know what fool's gold is that ore that replicates and resembles gold, but it's worth about 2.5 cents if you try to cash it in.
Angie, if nothing's changed, right? They didn't make any player changes. 5 players didn't come back from the disabled list. injured. What is it called? Injured list.
Yeah,
Injured list.
yeah,
Sorry, excuse me.
yes.
The injured list. If they didn't come back
It's
from
the disabled list in my book, Brett.
if they didn't come back from the disabled list, well, then what changed? Well, they got a little chemistry, right? They got a little chemistry, but I don't think that takes them through the season. In the 73 season, in August, all their players started to come back from the injured list. So that's what gave them the boost into September to make it into the World Series. But nothing like that has happened, right? Players didn't come back from the injured.
Yeah, speaking of which, Mike Marciano, where's Kodai Senga? We're at June the 28th. I think I'm going to win that bet where you're going to have to come on board and say that I am a baseball savant, Mikey. Oh, my God. All right. So the other part of our show, and Brett really has really, I'm like, my heart is racing. This guy is, you have no idea what this guy means to me.
My heart is racing.
This guy is like above board.
So one of the conversations that Angie and I have is I respectfully, when I say respectfully, with all due respect, I respectfully ask questions regarding faith. And Angelo is, from what I see, is an extremely faithful person, puts his heart into God and makes his decisions in that way in his personal life. While I don't know him that well, we do speak and text almost every day. So I do know that that's important to him. But one of the things that I ask him is, I'm very fascinated when I ask Angelo, when people pass away, who's in heaven? He's very definitive. He doesn't have to think. If you ask him a player, he will tell you whether he thinks he's in heaven or not. Now, I got 10. Can we go through this real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Willie Mays.
100%.
Why?
The man was a mensch on and off the field. He gave back to the game. He was good with the kids.
Okay. Just give me a couple of words.
Sure.
Rusty Staub.
1,000% in heaven. Premier guy, created the firefighters who lost their
in 9/11. I was there.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Tom Seaver. Is Tom Seaver in heaven?
Could I pass on Tom Seaver?
We'll come back to him. Jerry Grody.
I don't have a bad thing about Jerry. I didn't personally like Jerry.
I'm just
Grody.
asking a question.
Sure, Jerry Grody.
I mean, if you ask me this question, who was in heaven, who's not, I would say I don't know, but you happen to know.
Right,
Somehow you have this line, so I want to know. Jerry Grody,
good guy, heaven.
He's in heaven.
Heaven.
Bud Harrelson.
Heaven.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Also a good guy to the community. Owned the Ducks. A lot of kid promotions. Good guy.
Okay.
Heaven.
Mayor Koch.
Mayor Koch. I say no.
Why?
Mayor Koch ruined the city. He absolutely ruined the city.
So if you do a bad, like I was an awful correction officer. I was really, really bad. Do you think I would have a problem getting through?
Brett Milletta, from the moment I've known you to now, you're in heaven, brother.
Okay. All right. Yeah, maybe that counts down.
Okay.
Richard Nixon.
100% heaven.
Heaven?
Yes. He was railroaded.
Watergate?
Yeah, he was railroaded.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm a Watergate historian. I'm certainly not going to bore everyone with that. However, if it was today, he would have been running again in 1980.
Yes, I concur.
Yeah. However, a lot of people died in Cambodia. Millions of people died in Cambodia. Also, the Vietnam War was prolonged an extra 2 years because he made a deal with the Vietnamese and said that I'll make you a better deal if I get elected. Millions of people died. He still goes to heaven? Millions.
Yes.
Okay. Ty Cobb. You see the way I go back and forth? Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb is mislabeled. Yes, Ty Cobb was a good guy. Do you know, and I covered this on an Angie angle, Ty Cobb used to have hundreds of letters written to him by kids. He answered each and every letter. The racism against Ty Cobb was fabricated, not real. Actually, I posted an article about Ty Cobb written by a historian. Ty Cobb, again, I wasn't around, But if I'm God, Ty Cobb's getting in.
You're letting him in. Babe Ruth.
So Brett's got this thing about Babe Ruth, right? I'm not going to cover it right now because I don't think we have enough time. We're at the 8:59 mark. I got to get the prayer circle in.
Babe Ruth.
Yes, Babe Ruth, heaven.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yes, Marilyn Monroe, heaven. Yes.
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio, heaven.
Last one, Groucho Marx.
1,000% Groucho Marx. 1,000%. The only one we didn't do is get into heaven is Mayor Koch.
Mayor Koch is the only one that didn't make it.
He's the only guy. All right, we're gonna do our prayer circle. The Brett's surprise. I can't even speak. All right, tonight's prayer circle includes Harold, Dawn Squared, and your friend Ed. Dawn Squared is his wife and co-worker, his friend Ed, and his great friend Carol and her husband Bob, who's on dialysis. Scott Tobias, we're praying for your wife and your mom. Linda Stein, we have your dad forever in our prayers for sure. And on all these upcoming weddings that you got going on, Linda. Mark Brooks, we got you, your dad, and your daughter Dominique, again, who is blessed with carrying a child, some hiccups in the past, and we hope that her pregnancy goes well and healthy. Kevin Elliott, as you deal with the health challenges down in Hollywood, California. Hollywood, Florida, my fault. Crouch family, we're praying for Aubrey, that her remission remains in check, that she's beating the C word. Martha, my coworker at Delphi University, we just saw each other the other day, and oh my gosh, aren't you just a beacon of positivity? Martha, God bless on your recovery. Clark, your brother-in-law Brad and your sister Trisha, continue blessings as Brad continues to get positive results. Deb and Lee, we understand that Lee's going to be undergoing some testing down in Maryland. We're praying for all positive outcomes. You got the whole Angie's Angles family behind you. Fred here at Smoke Therapy, going in for rotator cuff surgery. And speaking of which, I might be headed there myself. We pray for you, Fred. Ray Capers, we're going to look forward to seeing you on July 11th as we got Angie's Angles, Midsummer, BLDs, Wings, Bourbon and Cigars back at Smoke Therapy. Coach Courtney, your brother-in-law Calvin, and your sister Pat. Mr. McGowan, sir, we have your 6 as you battle and you destroy the C word that's attacking you, my friend. Marianne Bello out in Las Vegas, we are praying for your mom's health as we all face, unfortunately, the frailty of our parents. Big John in the Smoke Therapy Lounge, we're praying for Irene, cousin Richie, and Phil's Nona. Tom, your friend Paul, as he's dealing with his cancer treatment. And last week, your mom had her 96th birthday. Happy birthday. And lastly, on tonight's prayer circle, July 2nd is going to mark, and I hate using the word anniversary because I hate when I refer to my parents' death anniversary. But my brother-in-law, Chuck, passed away July 2nd last year. As I covered last week and got a little emotional, Father's Day just passed where my sister and her kids had to face Father's Day without Chuck. And then it was birthday. It was his birthday right after Father's Day. And now they're coming up on the 1 year passing of Chuck, tragically. I gave this last week. I'm not going to try to get all emotional or delve too much into it, but folks, the man next to me is a dear friend. We just known each other since September. But when you grab hold of somebody that's a relative that you could talk to, that you have every day, do not for a second take that for granted. My brother-in-law was a fitness guy. He jogged, he ran, he rode his bike. And God said, Chuck, you're coming to heaven. And Chuck's in heaven, Brett. If you ever asked me that question, there was not a better guy in my book that could have married my sister and had the family they had. So please remember my sister, my nieces, Natalie, Caroline, and Ava in your prayers as they face a very hard week. You know, we'll all be hooting and hollering and barbecuing for the 4th of July, but there's no fireworks in their family this 4th of July or many more in the future, I suppose. So we're at the 9:04 mark. Brett blew up my show. True to word of the 4th of July. I gotta stand up after the show, give this guy a hug, shake his hand, tell him I love him. Brett, I love you.
Thank you.
All right, I love you. This has been a huge surprise. This has been Angie's Angles on a Friday night, coming to you live from Smoke Therapy, 215 Ronkonkoma Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York. Good night. God bless. I love you.